Welcome to Open Hwoarang Lessons. We're talking about singular stuff now. So from panic moves to DF1s and to, of course, punishers. Let's talk about one of Hwoarang's key high-crushing lows. That is down back 3. This move. We'll have to get down to it. So what is down back 3? Down back 3 is a 19-frame low from standing that is 0 on hit. 0 on hit and minus 13 on block. So this move is literally Hwoarang's only high-crushing low aside from down 4. However, this is slower and more negative on hit. It's negative 6. It's not exactly a... You can throw it out, but down back 3 will have you covered for more situations and you have more possibilities. And we'll be talking about the options in just a bit. Now, this move does have some tracking. We're gonna have here, we're gonna do +1, just a +1 situation. If you want to see all the other situations for tracking, I have the Hwoarang tracking master list linked in the description below. So sidestep left, we're gonna do a jab, right? From position reset into down back 3, catches, perfect. Sidestep right, from a jab, oh okay, loses to right, that's fine. You just need to catch a certain side, though, not looking good. However, still your main low. So if your opponent's always going high, like let's say Steve matchup, we mainly use there against also the Mishimas, down back 3 is going to be a restaurant. So 1 out of the 3 for stepping. That's where you include forward dashing or movement to realign this move, right? And of course, that's only in the +1 situation. We can go even further by making it the +5 situation, and it changes a whole ton. See, it kind of catches sidewalk right, and well, it still loses to left, but it should change the playing field already. The higher the frames to go, right? Grammar. So yes, so you can see it has decent tracking. Well, subpar, decent, whatever you want to call it, right? So let's talk about this situation on hit, shall we? So the classic option you always see a Hwoarang do after down back 3 on hit is wall standing 4. So that's 11 frames for something that's 0 on hit. Now if you do the math, this is an 11 frame wall standing move versus either a 10 frame standing move and a 10 frame crouching move. Because the opposing Hwoarang here is still in standing. It's not like drag down 2 where they're forced crouch, right? If this did the same thing drag did, this would be a completely different situation. But since it doesn't, they have the option to step. They can step while standing 4. And aside from stepping, they can backdash it to be safer, right? Although it's going to catch them if they attempt to backdash here. We'll show you, right? They attempt to backdash. You already saw the stepping. You see, it's going to catch them. And of course, if you do like the whole thing, they're not running away. However, if they do press a jab or a down jab, they would most likely beat the situation. Here you go. I'm just gonna have Hwoarang repeat it for us, just so that you can see. Here you go. I need to get hit, and I'll just press a jab. There you go. That's when this situation starts getting blown up. However, there are counters to this, including this. Like if they do a standing down jab after down back 3 on hit. You see, there are times it trades, sometimes it doesn't. But more or less, you're going to end up with a trade, or you're going to lose if you keep doing while standing 4. So of course, there are counters, right? I was mentioning counters. So against this particular counter, right, what you can do is to step. You can step. Now, that wasn't a punish, but you get what I mean. You get my catch my drift, right? let me record it more properly. I love recreating situations in practice mode. Okay, that should be right. Finally, there you go. Punish. Perfect. So something like that. That's how the situation would turn out. You can step versus a jab. And of course, if they do a standing down jab, of course, naturally, you'd have to do a mid to punish them, right? Of course, that's not the only other situation you can do. Against that particular situation, a jab or a down jab, the other thing you can do is to do a down jab yourself. give them the same kind of cheese that they're giving you. So if you both do a standing down jab, you're going to trade. So it's a better kind of trade compared to the wall standing 4. And of course, if they do a jab, you eliminate the jab, which is perfect, right? So that's like mainly what they're going to do. And let's say they're freezing up now, right? Because you did the standing down jab and you've stepped, right? They're freezing up. So you can recheck with a wall standing 4 if you'd like. Or you can take your free damage and be on your way by either doing an FC4 or a down 3, an FC3. So total damage you'll be getting is around 22, which is great. However, you're negative on hit for both situations, so don't press after. It's recommended you don't press after. However, if that's gonna work in that situation, perfect. So that's 24 damage. So that's good. That's good. That's if they're freezing up, right? And they're afraid of like the down jab or the step, because you can't really backdash anything like they attempt to do. The opposing Hwoarang is always gonna catch you even if you attempt to backdash after, what do you call this? Down back 3 on hit. You're gonna get caught pretty much most of the time. I can't showcase Hwoarang's DF1 here because it's gonna get backdashed. But another character with a solid DF1 would catch you a lot more. So yes, and that's not all. Let's say they don't want to press in that situation. They don't want to do a standing jab. They don't want to do a standing down jab. They don't want to walk while standing 4. I didn't show the while standing 4 one. I just said you could step it, right? Let me show you. So down back 4, hit. Ouch. Let's use an evasive move. There you go. And like that, you can even step block. But yeah, you can step that. And just give it some time. Give it some practice. Aside from that, so let's say they don't want to do that, right? They're waiting for that. So they're either stepping because they're waiting, or they don't want to press because they're afraid of losing the situation. They could also just low parry the down jab, right? But if they don't know what option you're going to be going for, well, they're put in a tricky spot, right? So if they're freezing up or they're moving to avoid the while standing 4 after down back 3, or your full crouch down jab, you could always do your pseudo homing move in while standing 3. If I attempt to step, I'm going to lose every time. Unlike while standing 4, even if I do back 1, I would only win with back 1 because it's fast, right? But as you can see here, it's not fast enough. Oh, there you go. It is fast enough. But sometimes it isn't. And you can see that it clearly traded there. So even steps could get caught. They're always going to get caught. This is a pseudo homing move. They might as well call it homing, but it isn't. Ever since Tag 2, even 6. Ever since its inception, I believe. So yeah. So if they're afraid, this is perfect. You can always just check them with a while standing 3. Or not a grab, right? Not a grab, but while standing 3 all the time. So down back 3 into while standing 3. So at this point in the video, what you know now is that what you can do, check with while standing 4. So if they beat your while standing 4, what happens? That means they're doing a jab, or they're doing a standing down jab, or they stepped it. 3 options, right? So how do you counter those 3 options? Mainly, number 1, you step their jab or their down jab and punish them for it. That's what you do. Number 2, you give them a taste of their own medicine by doing another down jab. That way you trade and you're back to neutral. Another way is to do the down back 3 into low parry. I didn't mention that earlier, but yeah, I'll mention it now. Then after that, if they're afraid of that, you can take your guaranteed damage and be on your way. And if not, and let's say they're stepping, you could do this. You could do while standing 3 after down back 3. And you'll get your guaranteed back 3, which is 33 total, 33 damage, or more damage. While standing FF3 is going to be more damage, but the Oki is a little bit more different compared to pancake flip back 3. Okay? And of course, lastly, if they really do not want to press and just focus more on moving, or they're just staying in place, then you can either loop another down back 3 by itself, like that. You just loop it infinitely. It doesn't even look like he's standing, right? It looks like it's a full crouch move. Or you start taking your turn. You start taking your turn, or you start taking your offense in the fastest way possible that you know how. So yeah, pretty short lesson for tonight. I'm pretty sure I missed some stuff. But this is more or less to give you like a brief example of how the down back 3 mix-up is and how it operates. So those are the typical options that would typically happen against a player who actually knows the matchup or doesn't know the matchup. Most particularly that main situation. This is a very important situation because, again, this is your only high crushing low in Hwoarang's arsenal that is actually decent compared to, yeah, well, this down 4. It's even shorter if you notice. It's even shorter. Like from the same range, I could get down back 3 to, no, never mind. It's, yeah, I guess they're the same range-ish. It's just that this has better frames. So yeah, that has been the cheese for today. I've been Frontier, and thank you for watching. Chicken.
Great.